All right. So I'm here with my friend David, Dr. David. He couldn't make it to Burning Man this week, so he's stuck here with me. Everybody, we're here in Tijuana. I almost said Tecate.
Almost same
Almost.
thing. They're right next to each other.
About an hour away. Yeah, so I'm out here in Tijuana with my friend Dr. David. Dr. David and I met 2 years ago after the first Vision Quest.
I think it was a teepee
You were at
ceremony.
the teepee ceremony. That was my
That
first.
was
That was my first teepee ceremony.
so that was around almost 3 years.
That
Yeah.
was 2023. Yeah, that was my first teepee ceremony. You fell asleep in it. You were.
Yeah. Sometimes I meditate too deeply. So,
By meditate too deeply, he means
but the peyote did what it needed to do in that ceremony. So the more that I learn, the more that I know that I should be like Taylor, more on my knees.
praying, sitting up, focused on the fire, on your knees, in reverence. At a certain point, you just like stop feeling the pain. You just kind of forget you have knees and limbs anymore. Man, wait until you come to a ceremony in the U.S. There's been some water prayers that are like an hour and a half, 2 hours long, and the men have to be like standing up on their knees the whole time. Yeah, that
Yeah, I'm
that
not looking forward for that. So,
that puts hair in your chest. That's how I got all this.
oh,
I didn't get hair on my chest till I was 20, 28, something like that. Anyways, yeah, we met during Vision Quest. That's like kind of when we became friends. We met in the teepee ceremony, but um, yeah, we just kind of hit it off. You know, two Scorpio bros trying to make their way through life, understand what the great mystery of their own individual life is all about.
enjoying life with peyote. Whoever likes peyote can be my friend also. So I'm glad to have him as a friend.
It's a pretty low bar, apparently.
I mean, yeah, low, but sometimes pretty high. That's what we like. Doing it in the desert, doing it all over the place. Peyote too. So cheers to all our masters and the people who want to teach us more about the traditions.
Yeah,
We share a few teachers along the way. One of them is Don Prisciliano, who is from the Wirrárica tradition. And I think that's what we want to focus on this next year
yeah,
by making the pilgrimage, if not bigger, with a crowd that we are happy to take and experience what we have experienced the last few years through their traditions, and doing the full pilgrimage will involve taking like a week off for you to be praying, building your own tributes, or how do you call them,
offerings.
your offerings in our way to the desert, where that's where the real magic happens.
Yeah, I think it's, the one thing I do want to say is like the pilgrimage is not a tourist event, you know? It's not a tourist event. It's not like a retreat. I really don't recommend it for most people unless unless they've sat with the medicine before. Because especially if you're American, you're going to be very uncomfortable. You're going to be, you may not like me by the end of the trip. The reason why, just like your friends, they didn't like me by the end of the, well, actually they loved me by the end of the trip. They hated me at the beginning of the trip.
So remember, detox before you come, at least like a month before. That would be the advice that we give to other people. Like he's saying, is not a tour experience. Is It's a pilgrimage where we want to be on a spiritual path as much as we can and not worry about the mosquitoes, the uncomfortable parts of the trip, but more on the intention of what you want to gain
Create.
from the experience
Yeah.
of being with the Wirrárica people and eating peyote like they used to do it.
So something I do want to kind of call out a little bit or talk about before as we kind of get into that is like the this pilgrimage is not just like a single night ceremony. It recreates the journey that the Wararica first took when they were led to the medicine. And this is like one of the most sacred and intimate ways that I personally believe you can come to know the medicine, and especially for the people, for the Wararica people. And so you're fasting for several days ahead of time. You're fasting for several days, and then as you're making these offerings, you're putting your intentions and your prayers into it. And so it's not a time to be kind of dicking around, making them, of course, have fun, but like it's a time for you to be very focused because the energy and the intention that you put into making these offerings, like that just is going to get amplified and manifested even more powerfully when you're out there in the desert. And so for me, before I was starting to go to the desert years before I ever encountered the medicine. One of my first teachers would take us out there and we would meditate for 7, 8, 9, 10 hours throughout the night. In the middle of the desert, it'd be 80, 90 degrees in the middle of the summer, at the middle of the night, and it'd get to like 30s and 40s. The desert's a very magical, powerful place. It's very unforgiving. It's very raw. It's got a ton of energy for multiple different reasons. But it's a place where the dreams of your life become planted and seeded. Whatever happens here in the cities, you can go to the desert and you can focus on whatever you want that to cultivate, and it will begin to become created in your Western city life. It's a place of raw, untapped potential. And so, as a seeker, or as someone who's looking for healing, or looking to work with a medicine or in a tradition, it's important to understand that reverence and know what type of forces you're engaging with, because this is ultimately what the mystic does. They learn to read and perceive and understand different forces of nature in our natural world so that we can begin to live in a more harmonious and cyclical way. And so when we go out there with the Wararica, they have reasons why they do certain things. They're following formulas, they're following traditions, they're following ways of reverence that create a symbiotic mutual relationship with the earth, with the spirits, with the medicine, and with their own people. And I think we're very fortunate to be able to have Prisciliano open that up to us and to people that want to go experience that. But it's not something to be taken lightly. There's no retreat house, there's no bunkhouse. You're sleeping in a sleeping bag under the stars and maybe a tent, you know?
Most likely not. So,
Maybe not even a tent. In the desert, no tent. You're just you and the blanket, man.
and the peyote.
and a lot of the peyote, a lot of the medicine.
So while we're there, There will be an unlimited buffet of peyote, which
No. No, there's not an unlimited buffet. And the reason why is because you only pick what you eat. You can have as much as you want. But if you pick it, you eat it. Just like Space Jesus did with his 33 buttons.
yeah, but he was
He,
hugging a tree for
about 8 hours.
even though I respect the way that he did it and I think he was one of the people from the last trip that enjoyed it the most.
His life has changed. I saw him just a week or two ago.
Nice.
And he's like, that experience changed my life. He's like, I forever see myself and reality differently.
Wow. So you know the formula now. 33 peyotes in 2 days. No food for 4 days. Or how many?
He fasted for like 7 or 8, but that's crazy in my opinion. I mean, you can do it. It's not crazy. Maybe that's what you want to do, you know? But like, it's not necessary. Not necessary.
But the most important thing for me, at least, is keeping the tradition alive and understanding that the Wirrárica or the Huichol people were is the other name that was given to them by the Spaniards is not the way that we're supposed to call them. So when we're acknowledging their traditions, we're respecting of a millenary tradition of the pilgrimage that they have done for centuries or even a millennia, just going to the desert and paying the respects to the hikuri or the way that we're supposed to call peyote.
Yeah.
Hikuri and Wirrárica is what we want to experience when we're in this vibration or when we're searching for plant medicine that can help us in the discovery of wisdom or whatever we're putting our intention behind of trying to find out more about us, about life, about whatever it is. You can find it in the desert most likely. So I'm honored to go with Don Prisi. I'm honored to learn from the Wirrárica traditions and their songs, their traditions that like Taylor was saying, it's good to be learning from people that have done it for many, many years and that they have kept this tradition alive because that was one of the only tribes that was not
Yep.
conquered by Spain. And knowing that is that they kept the tradition alive all this time
Yep.
since they didn't deal with the invasion of Spain in Mexico.
You know the story? You know the story of it?
Kind of, but let me know the story on your side.
It's not my side of the story. It's just what I remember. um, yes, I read this, and I think we should talk to Prissy about this because I think he would probably have some more information on it. But essentially, when the Spanish started to invade Mexico, or what is now Mexico, the medicine told the people to go into the mountains, and so they went into the mountains there. What is it, Real de Catorce? What?
Yeah, they were in Jalisco, but the pilgrimage is to Real de Catorce. So they went all over the Sierra around
Yeah,
Jalisco and
that's it.
the
Yeah, the Sierras.
neighborhood states
Yep.
around Mexico. And the Spaniards, of course, couldn't find them because they were in the middle of nowhere and nobody wanted to conquer mountains. So they kept everything
Yeah.
alive all this time
Yep.
since 1540 or since before.
Yeah, it was like several hundred years. I think it's interesting how you have these in several different indigenous traditions in Mexico. They talk about this 500-year span um, of the teachings kind of going underground and then starting to emerge after 500 years. And when did the invasion start? In 15.
1492, America
That
was
was
discovered,
that was
and then
Columbus.
1540,
1540. So yeah,
1549.
we're approaching that like 500-year mark.
I mean, ask the Oracle.
Chat GPT. 1519.
1519.
Yeah. So we just passed that 500-year mark. So, you know, the peyote, that medicine has changed my entire life. It's changed my way that I see the world, my perception of reality. It's opened my heart in ways that I'm still looking to understand. It creates a transformational shift and process that I may not fully understand ever. But what I can say is that it's made me more of myself. It has given me a it has given me a way of understanding a very unique vibration that I believe is unique to each individual person. Whether you want to call that your path, your purpose, your truest self, I just believe that peyote makes you more of who you are. And of course, there's the healing process because our entire makeup of our perception has been impressed upon and filtered and programmed by the society and the culture we grow up in, our experiences. And so when you eat peyote, it begins to erase all of that. And it begins to show you who you are at the core essence of your being. And the healing is the removing of everything that is not true for you, everything that is not you. From my point of view, from my experience of it. And that's very similar to like what the mystic experiences when they meditate in light. The light does the same thing. The light begins to cleanse your awareness and your consciousness of the things that are not true, the things that are not really who you are at your essence. And so, if I can simply put it, I think the peyote puts you in contact or brings you closer to your true essence. What about you? What's your big what's been the big thing that the medicine's helped you with?
Being me, like you said, being more aware of what really is out there. I guess my plant medicine journey in the end took me to tipi ceremonies, to being more attuned to the Mexican roots since I do like ayahuasca, but I prefer to eat peyote since I want to be as involved as I can with the Mexican traditions or the Wirrárica traditions since I'm a proud Mexican living in Tijuana, border life, that now when I organize some peyote ceremonies, we don't get the same amount of people that we were gathering people for an ayahuasca ceremony.
I think it's so interesting.
Yeah, me too. That's
Like,
why the more that we can tell people that peyote or ayahuasca or bufo or ibogaine or any medicine can take you to the same place, they all have their language, they all have their way. And it doesn't matter which way you get there, but if you can become more of yourself, like Taylor is saying, be more consciously aware of what consciousness really is, or get a perspective or a new glimpse into your new reality or the reality that you want to create in this lifetime or in this space. I think that's what the peyote can teach me. And for me, sometimes I'm too interested in seeing visuals or seeing a blue deer or talking to the stars or seeing them move. But in reality, what I want is to become a better person, that my word becomes as important as a document I'm signing, as important as a word as the man's word should be. So for me, peyote has given me that opportunity of praying for it and having it manifested the day after, a few weeks after, months after. We might call it magic, but I call it praying with intention, praying
Yeah.
with just being humble and being grateful. Like this last desert trip, most of the things that I've asked for this trip, besides being grateful and not being hit with a stick many times over, I'm I'm really happy that everything's being more aligned with my intentions and my walking on a daily basis, and keeping my word has been my priority for the last few years. So I asked to be more in the presence of my son, and it was granted as soon as I arrived. So some people say that ayahuasca is the mother or the grandmother, and peyote is the father or masculine energy. I feel that I want to be there in this masculine energy where I'm striving to be the best version of myself as a man, as a father, as a friend, as an acquaintance, as whatever the future or the present is holding for me. I don't really care about the past, and the future, as we know, creates anxiety. So I try to stay as grounded as possible. And I think that's the energy of the desert.
Yeah.
Be here now. If Ram does say it, or whoever says it, or any guru says it, in the end, it's all about being here. And just like we're here recording this and laughing, that's what peyote is giving me. It's giving me balance. It's giving me freedom. It's giving me happiness. It's giving me the life I want to manifest on a daily basis,
Yeah.
because I want to be me and I want to be honest, authentic, however you want to call it. The more aligned that I feel with my vision and my life is, everything starts coming, no? All the synchronicities. Taylor coming a few hours ahead of time to a Temazcal, or us going to Tata today to be a translator. Everything happens for a reason, no? And I think the reason is not social media, or the reason is not all this bullshit. The reason is, who are you on a daily basis? It's not about tripping. It's not about going to the desert and eating 33 buttons, or hugging a tree, or being almost dehydrated and finding yourself. It's about, what are you gonna do with your life when shit happens? Because it's cyclical and stuff will happen all the time. So, how are you gonna react on an everyday kind of basis to every situation? And that's the strength that I think I have found with peyote and plant medicine. I don't care about the trip. I don't care how many jaguars, how many eagles, how many blue deers I'm gonna see. I care about, how is it making me feel?
Yeah.
How is my mind to heart coherence? Do I need to listen to another Maracame, or do I need to listen to Joe Dispenza more? To whoever I want to listen in the end is, what are you doing now besides recording this wannabe podcast or wannabe video? We're just in the now, and the now feels amazing because we're being our true essence. we're being this Beavis and Butthead that we miss Burning Man, so we're here going to see Juan Matos in Tecate or the Baja region because that's what we like to do. And then we're staying true to ourselves.
Yeah.
We want to share. And the more that we can share through laughter, through honesty, or just by being humble, I think that's what I want to show the world. Be you. Be kind. Be authentic. Be brave. Be yourself or whatever you want, but be you. So that's peyote for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It has a way of like illuminating the parts of your mind, that your heart, of your life that aren't you. The thing that I've always appreciated about it is that it's very gentle and very honest. Like I personally have never really had a you know, quote unquote tough time with the medicine. I don't know why that is.
Because you fall asleep too.
I do not fall asleep. That is not true. I'll get beat if I fall asleep. No, it's like it just I don't know why that's, I don't really seek to have a tough time with the medicine, honestly, because I like if whenever I feeling, sick to my stomach or something with it, I just talk to it and I ask it like, "Hey, I want to feel good, like, I want to keep you in me. I don't want to throw you out. I don't want to purge, like help me feel good." And it responds. It's a very hyper conscious intelligence. But I feel like it responds to the energy that you bring into it. And so this is like kind of why I was saying at the beginning, like, the pilgrimage and that trip to the desert, it's not really like a tourist activity. It's like one of the most intimate, precious, and sacred things you can go on, even if you don't understand the full culture of the Wadatka or the process. I'm still learning this. I've been with Precy since I met him in 2022. 2021? No, 2022. So I've only met him a short time. And I'm still learning more and more things about the Wadatka culture as a whole, aside from what the medicine's going to teach you in ceremony. And I feel like I can't iterate enough how special and privileged we are to be able to have access to this type of healing, these experiences, and this medicine. Because I know that the medicine wants to run, it wants to like expand itself. I've always really resonated with that message from the indigenous cultures here in Mexico, where they say, yeah, the hikuri, it wants to grow, it wants to expand, it wants to run, it doesn't want to be kept, private, secret. And I really think that peyote is the medicine out of all of them that really can change the entire world. I just see more of it because it heals the mind, it heals the heart, and other medicines do that. Other medicines do that. But I think there's something really special about the way that it grounds you into your body. It brings you into the earth. It brings you here into the present. I've worked with a lot of, taken a lot of psychedelics in my day. A lot of entheogens, a lot of different plant medicines. And hikuri is the one that I feel like the more I eat, I get more sober, actually. You know, it's like it's doesn't I don't feel pushed over the edge in any capacity. In a good way, pushed over the edge, like increase that comfort zone, that capacity, that understanding of what is known to erase the boundaries, you know? But it's always if it's there's always a coherence to it. And I think that is something that's very healing for our day and age, because I think a lot of people don't have coherence in their own life. They don't know what the hell's going on in their own head and their own heart. And so that just manifests as this chaotic, confusing expression of life, rather than there being intentionality, rather than there being structure, than having flow. And the medicine will teach you what you want to learn. That's what I've always appreciated about it, is that whatever intention you bring to it, it will communicate that to you. Whether it's healing, whether it's knowledge, whether you have a problem you're trying to understand, it's just you and the fire and that intelligence that's flowing between you all, that's keeping you guys all in the same, wrapping it all together so that you begin to realize that while you are an individual awareness, you're also part of this bigger collective awareness simultaneously. And the more time you can spend dissolving that barrier of relativity between you and the other, the more you can understand these things. Because it's taking you out of this idea of self-importance and of individual self-importance, and shifting your perspective, even just for a night, to a one of unity and to one of clarity, one of wholeness. And that's something that I've really seen in the Wadadaka tradition, is this sense of unity and wholeness and balance, not just with the people, but with all of nature and life. And it's something that I wish everybody can experience. Because then you become one of those peyote pups that grows, and then the medicine, the energy of that medicine begins to expand, and it flows into the rest of the world. And that's what I think can ultimately really shape a different world for us to live in, is having that centering and home in a unified collective experience that we're having an individual expression or a life of. That's my ramble.
Nice ramble. How to follow up for that? Um, I agree. Thank you. It's the best thing about sharing. You- You're not supposed to think individual. And just like when we're out there on the desert, We don't pick the first peyote family that we encounter. We
Yeah.
pray that we just found the medicine or hikuri,
Yep.
and after that we can start cutting buttons with all the respect because that's what we want. We want to expand the tradition. We want to show people of the benefits of the medicine, not just physically but spiritually. We want people to experience life as a community, experience life as this oneness effect that I think we have experienced through psychedelics or through entheogens, and knowing that in the end we're all one. And if we're all one, I want the best for you because it's gonna be the best for me. And as a healer or as a physician, that's what I want for my patients in the end. I want them to feel at their best because the term that I like to use now is biohacking. Since I'm also a nerd and I like to say that I like to hack, and I've been hacking basically since I've been 13 years old. And now I like to do it with people's body, with people's minds, with people's spirit, because I know the change that it can happen because I have experienced it through my own ceremonies, through my own rituals, through my daily life of being more present, being more in peace with my family, being more in peace with myself, or understanding that the 70,000 thoughts that we have a day are not easy for any human being to experience on a daily basis. So, knowing that we can give somebody a peace of mind through psychedelic therapy or through ceremonies or through a pilgrimage makes me feel that that is my true mission. Maybe in my own experience, I felt that I wanted to be a surgeon or an orthopedic surgeon or a neurosurgeon or anything surgeon, but now I feel happier that my life purpose has become to be a surgeon of the soul, to be a surgeon of your brain without a knife, to be there holding space and also be part of the process of the integration because it's not just the ceremony or the
Yeah.
pilgrimage that we want to be there for you. We want to be there, if not on a daily or a weekly or a monthly basis. We're building a team so you feel that when you come, you're gonna be there with a master shaman or in the Wirrárica tradition, a maracame. And the maracame is not like he goes to university for 4 years or does a master for another two and then a PhD. When you get to wear a feather hat, it most likely 25, 30 years after you started with the medicine. So this is not an easy road to become a roadman or a ceremony master. What we want, or at least what I'm aiming for, is not that feather hat. It's to is to show people that there's other ways of finding yourself, or like Taylor was saying, finding more tools that can help you in this mystic path or this burner spiritually new age hippie shaman that you want to become. Just be the best version of yourself. You don't need to facilitate medicine in order to feel superior or
Yeah.
know that you're gonna heal people when you haven't even healed yourself. So all those fake shamans out there who took a Zoom class or went to this retreat where now they think they can facilitate medicine, you're nowhere near. And you won't be anywhere near unless you have spent 10, 20, 30 years learning how to cure yourself, to treat yourself, to speak better to yourself. And then I think you will be able to dare to facilitate and help people in this kind of settings. So for me, it's an honor to be rambling here with somebody that I feel is living their true calling by just doing this kind of things and sharing out of gratefulness for the path, no? Because that's how I feel. Grateful every day. And being grateful will rewire your brain, science or not science based. I want everybody to be grateful for what they have and the path that they have chosen to be a better version of themselves. So if you're already doing ayahuasca ceremonies, well, continue doing them. But it's not about going to trip. It's about how are you integrating these 60 or 200 ayahuasca ceremonies? How are you responding to your siblings or your parents? How are your closest relationships? Who's your tribe? Who can you call in case of an emergency? Who you really are. I don't care about how many peyote or ayahuasca ceremonies you have done. How are you living your ikigai? How are you being you? So I'm happy to be myself. I'm happy to be learning from the Lakota tradition because if one path can take you there, the other paths can take you there. And that's what we were talking yesterday with Tejon, another brother that we're grateful to be in his presence and learn from him, sing with him, chant with him, pray with him. Since when we're with him, we know that he's being true to his essence and showing the way for some of us as we would like to show others who are just starting or already on the path to share the experiences of what has helped us be the best version of ourselves. So cheers.
Yeah. Yeah. The medicine does all the work. It does all the heavy lifting. You just have to be receptive to it and open to it and present with it and be willing to accept it. I think that's like one of the hardest things that people have a have a resistance to is just accepting yourself as you are, where you are, and accepting the medicine that it wants to give you. It doesn't the life doesn't need to be this like struggle. It doesn't need to be this hard thing. There will be hard times, sure, just like everything, maybe, you know. But if the medicine's taught me anything, it's taught me how to be fluid, how to keep my heart open when all I want to do is just react and shut down. And that becomes less and less. And I feel like the medicine's truly working in your life, it begins to express itself and plant those seeds exponentially around you in your world, in your life. Maybe this is an adolescent or immature view. I don't know. But I feel like if you can just if you can approach it with gratitude and reverence, and you just be open for what it wants to teach you, it will do much more amazing things in your life than you would ever imagine possible. I think that's the case with any medicine, any plant medicine at least, is that if you're open to the transformation and the healing and the intelligence that it wants to communicate to you, you become a you become that thing. You become that medicine. Just like all these other traditions where they focus on merging with a specific archetype or deity or of the Godhead, you start to take on those characteristics. And I don't see that being any different with medicine. You become the expression of these characteristics. You become the archetypal manifestations. And to whatever degree you want to go or you want to work with it, and if you have the right heart, I think the medicine will do a lot of very good things in your life. But it's all up to you. It's all up to you, man. Yes, we can.
Every day, every moment.
Yeah. So, anyways, I think that's a good spot to wrap it up. It's time to go see Tata, yeah?
Yeah, time to go see Tata.
Cool. So, Prisciliano is coming in October to Tijuana here. That'd be a good first experience, I think. A sit-in ceremony here. Just to clarify, David and I make no money from this at all. Any financial transaction or exchange goes straight to him to support him, his family, and the land that is being used, that his family has cultivated and caretaked for years. So just wanted to clarify that. We have our own livelihoods, our own businesses, and I think that's something to really. I think that's something that should be really thought about when engaging with healing and medicine traditions. Is not using that as a way to make money. Of course, everybody needs to make money, need to pay your bills, but it showed me a lot when I was starting to get Prisciliano, starting to know him. And he would run ceremonies for 10, 15, 20 people, and he would make like barely $200, or he would go perform healings on people and they would just pay him with whatever they had, sometimes, which was like some fruit. So yeah, we don't make money from this. It all goes to support him, his people, his family, the land there. So October, I think he's visiting here, right?
Yeah, he's arriving, I think, the first week of October.
Okay.
I still no dates.
Yeah.
He doesn't like to travel on a plane. So whenever we get the dates, he'll arrive like 2-3 days after.
Yeah, because he takes a bus for like 30 hours.
And if we get more people, we plan to bring other musicians, which I think will make the ceremony even better.
We're going to bring
Tachito.
Nice.
So he's a violinist from the Wirrárica tradition.
Yeah, very famous violinist.
And we'll send you some of his Spotify tracks if they're already on Spotify.
Are they on Spotify now?
Yeah, well,
That's
like
funny.
100, 200 only plays under.
Wow.
But it's growing.
Cool.
And we want to help other people discover the medicine that has helped us.
Yeah.
So please, if you feel the calling, reach out to Taylor or me. We're going to arrange healing ceremonies, cleanses, or what will be the translation? Limpias.
Yeah.
Which is other things that Prisciliano does.
Yeah.
And it could help you along on your journey. So trust the process and be present.
I hope.
Aho.
Later, skater.